Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Genesis once again this evening as we join our crew as they have just finished a major battle with an ogre and some spirits, and as they delve into the mysteries of the Obel Forest tonight. We are so glad that you are along with us. We have our full crew back with us tonight. Guz is back in the game, and we are excited to see where this story leads to as we move towards the conclusion. First chapter of Chookorg's Rangers. So, as you guys might recall last time, the roof, you literally brought down the roof of the building that you guys were in, protecting the halfling and the two companion wood lumberjacks that were in there with him. And then you guys had slept it off for the night to get your stress back after a very, very long day. And I believe, S, you mentioned that you were potentially going to use your Dreamer attribute. Is that true?
Yes.
So why don't you tell everybody a little
By
bit
the
about
way,
Dreamer?
I believe my video is off on stream.
There we go. There it is.
Okay. Yes, I would like to flip a story point over to use my talent Dreamer, which allows the GM to send me a dream related to any of the stuff we are going through at the moment.
Excellent. So story point flip.
Yeah.
And
before he drifts off to sleep, or they drift off to sleep, as everyone is preparing and going to rest, Brooklyn goes over to S and says, something weird happened while we were fighting there. I felt like inside my head.
Yes, well, that's how it feels sometimes. Some people feel it differently.
Can you read my mind? Because, a guy or a girl or people in general don't necessarily want, people reading their most private thoughts.
I don't think so, at least with what I have. It's just what you share with me, and you were able to share your skills with me for a time. Yes. That seems to be how it
You promise,
works.
cross your heart?
I promise.
I'm trusting you here. I mean, I never experienced anything like that before, so I'm okay.
It is just what you share with me, don't worry.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good night.
Yes.
Pleasant dreams.
I hope so.
So as you all bed down for the night in your various positions, there's several, like I said, several hamlets that were not destroyed. You kind of pick and choose between them. The logger camp is still empty. So whether you choose to sleep indoors or out, you all descend into the driftfulness of sleep. Is there any bedtime rituals that you guys kind of play out before you go to sleep?
Well, as far as you mean anything that to do with maintaining magic or anything like that, or are you talking about like setting up sentries? Do we need sentries or
anything along both those natures?
Well, is any of the villagers, are they able to provide us any type of security or?
Well, they're gone. We're kind of alone.
Yeah.
It would be wise to work out a watch. Morgeza.
Usually I don't bother, but I guess we could.
Probably not a bad idea.
Battle often leaves my blood boiling.
But this will take how much strain would it cost to create if I tie some yarn around like a circle of trees that will make an alarm in case someone trips the threads?
Yeah, so that should be that'd be standard amount of strain. So that's 2 strain, and then it's just your roll to see
But it's
how.
gonna last the whole. Okay, we'll see. We'll see the duration, right? I guess.
Yeah, so typically magic requires some type of continual effect, but concentration. But
concentration.
for something like this, you could keep it up for a period of time and then just refresh it partway through. I think wanted to
Okay.
something we can pull off.
I like the idea of him just waking up and not able to get all of his strain back. Yeah.
That would be
That is
awful.
That though, there are a lot of
But
precedents
that's
for that with the Star Wars stuff. In the Star Wars, there are several adventures where they lower your maximum strain because you're exhausted at problems.
all right. Would you like to do that, or would you like to just take shifts?
I'd be willing to take a shift. We can take 10 to 12 hours of a good rest.
Is that about what the common rest is? Is 10 to 12 hours? I mean, that's a
No,
pretty
but
long rest.
I know if we take shifts,
Half a day.
we
If
spend more
everybody's
time
like
in
spending
take
3
shifts.
hours, if everybody's
Yeah.
takes a 3-hour watch, right? Then we're only getting 9 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how hard and fast Genesis is about like the whole 8 hours of rest to restore spells thing.
Right.
Like it literally says a hearty meal will recover
Yeah.
strain.
Oh, really?
So you don't need like a comfy bed and 8 hours.
Oh, okay,
8
you don't need
solid
to
hours
have
of
that.
uninterrupted sleep.
Well,
So
then what
I don't think at least.
do we want to say? Like, I don't know. What is the average person? What, 6 hours basically of sleep? So, or
Yes, or
4
less in
hours?
times of stress. I would be happy to stay up the first 4 hours of the night and sustain on 4 hours of sleep tomorrow if somebody can handle the next
You
4.
don't have to.
I mean, like,
I'll take a couple of hours, and somebody else can take 2 or 3. We can all share.
if that's what you prefer, I'm unlikely to find restful sleep until the wee hours of the morning.
Well, I suppose that's what we'll do then.
Should we gather in one of these buildings that we may have an easier time spying entry?
I think that's probably would be good.
Actually, yeah, we're inside the buildings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might want to make sure we have a building with more than one entry, just in case, so we're not trapped inside.
Yes, let us not choose a granary. I cannot imagine any other building that would not have at least a window.
All right. So what is your order of sleeping or watch? I guess probably be better.
Guz will stay up first, and he'll stay. I think that, like, logically, if we cut sleep down, the people who sleep may just have to make like a resilience check or something, is my guess, or have a setback for the next day with fatigue. So I'd be happy to take up to the first 4 hours, and then if we're doing like an 8-hour rest, sleep 4. But if other people want to take chunks of that, be my guess.
Well, I would probably be nervous about Moguz because he took like the most damage in our last battle. So I could not heal him.
What should my trackers be at?
Oh, you're good. You're good now.
Yeah, they
Zero,
healed.
zero?
But you're
they healed you
no,
before.
yes.
I see.
There was a bunch of healing which I tried to do that failed, and other people did magical healing that worked a lot better. I'd probably between 2 and 3 hours. Brooklyn would probably go over and say, "You had a tough day today. You should go and rest as best as you can, even though you say you can't."
All right. So Recklin's on second shift. Who's taking third watch?
Okay, I can take third watch. You can take the last one.
And then I'll take the last one.
Right. All right. So Guz, tell me as you take your shift, what do you kind of do? What's your watch look like?
Sure. So I'll go around and I will shut all of the windows as best as I'm able to. I can't imagine that there's like we're not staying in a palace. And then I will close the door. And is there like maybe a window that I could watch like the front of the house out of? Okay, so I'll pull up like a chair next to that window and turn out the lights inside of the house so that people can't see into it, and just sit and watch and listen as I unequip, I guess, my sword and shield and lay them out and start to clean them from the battle. It's something that I would do on any night, but particularly after a battle, I pay special attention to clean and oil them because they are my most prized possessions in this entire world.
Absolutely.
As I do, I whisper to them my thanks.
As you're kind of de-equip and start cleaning your weapons, the spirits, you might recall that there were 2 water spirits that were around and about you.
All right. Yes.
We
forgot about that.
They kind of follow your whetstone as you kind of clean your sword, especially. They kind of follow it, almost floating above it momentarily. And then as you kind of settle into your restive period, you notice them kind of dancing over the blade, as it were. And then for a moment, you see them start to imitate the blade. Like as you kind of like move the blade back and forth a little bit, their spirit blade kind of moves back and forth a bit.
Dog.
Can you feel guard dude there? Sorry, just one sec. Does guard dude speak to you, little ones? I'll say as I move the blade, like kind of testing the link.
It mimics your blade movements almost one for one.
And do you still fear me? And I'll reach my hand out toward it.
The sword kind of parts around your hand as you kind of reach over it. Like they continue to part around you, but they do still seem to be linked to you into the sword.
Yes. I too can feel his spirit in these things, little ones. I always knew there was something special beyond nostalgia in these objects. So through this, I will like kind of be taking only furtive glances at the ghost because I'm disciplined enough that whenever my hackles aren't up, I can know that keeping watch is still very important. So
absolutely. The rest of your shift passes without note, and done. Recklin.
Yeah, Mogas, like I said, you've had a tough day. Get whatever sleep you can. I know you're restless, but you had the worst of all of us today. And
it is true, my weary bones. Thank you.
Rather than staying inside, Ricklin is more used to being outside, so he exits the house. He will sit on the porch and make a circuit back and forth around, keeping his bow out at his side, pondering those spirits that he keeps seeing around Mogas whenever he has the time that he was not able to communicate or understand with earlier, and try and wonder what is happening and reflect on all his teachings. But at the same time, try and not get lost in thoughts, keeping his routine moving back and forth.
As the night progresses, you hear a lot more noise and activity growing through your shift in the woods. It's still far off. You hear in part, you think you might even hear like the rhythm of a drum circle or something far deep in the woods. But it kind of goes in and out. Quiet for a little bit, then you hear it for a little bit, and then it goes away. But definitely something happening in the forest.
All right.
All right. S. It is their shift.
All right. Do I get to dream now, or is this after my shift?
I think you will probably dream after your shift in that last couple hour chunk. In that kind of
Awesome.
that quasi-waking state, as it were, when we all get our weirdest dreams.
Right.
Very.
All right. So I will wake up and yes, I will. Can I like tie a thread? Okay. There are probably some doors, right? I just want to tie some thread across the doors. I don't know if there are metal objects around, but basically I want, like, if something comes in, even if we can't see it, it'll jangle.
Sure, yeah.
I do tell S as we're changing that there is some noise out there. It has not
Yes.
come close, but I've been hearing it. So keep your ears and your eyes open, and hopefully it will not trouble us.
I hope so. Thanks for letting me know. Well, our lives do depend on it, so. You should go sleep now.
Yeah, I think I will. It's been a long day.
As they set up the threads across the doors and such, where are they actually going to take their watch? Are you going to be inside, outside?
I think I'll be inside. I want to be observing our copies.
You notice as you go over. By this point, Guz is sleeping or nearly asleep, but the copies have morphed from their regular copy form, and it almost looks like they're mimicking Guz's sword. They have changed, and they're kind of floating above his sword, probably 6 to 8 inches above. It's kind of floating right above that.
Can I examine that sword? What is this sword?
Guz's sword, or the sword that they're the
Guz's,
imitation sword?
Yeah, the imitation sword.
I would like to make a vigilance check if he's touching my sword.
It's the copy of your sword, so it's not your sword.
The
The
imitation.
spirits.
Okay.
Yeah.
The spirit blade.
But you do see Guz stir in his sleep.
As you kind of approach and look at the spirits who have now formed into a copy of Guz's sword, as you kind of
So they're all just sword shaped?
they look like one sword. They look like they have morphed into a singular object.
Okay. I'd like to check. Yes.
All right, go ahead and give me a knowledge roll. It can be
Oh my gosh.
knowledge,
Where's
probably knowledge
It's
forbidden.
over here. Oh my. Okay, I did not put anything on that, though I considered it. Oops.
3 greens versus 3 purples.
That's a lot. All right. Is this correct?
That's correct.
Oh goodness. Oh,
All right.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
That is 3 successes.
3
and
successes.
One
Threat?
one threat.
Okay.
All right. So what are you trying to ascertain here?
I guess 2 things: how the spirits are connecting to each other, and any like symbols or form, like shapes on the sword that remind me of something?
Gotcha. As you kind of reach out with your thread magic towards the artificial sword and kind of examine it, probe it, connect with the spirits similarly how you did before with the psychic connection, you see rather than three distinct spirits, when they are in this form, they seem to act as almost one hive mind. Like they are all completely connected to each other, similar to how you were with Recklin not too long ago. Um, and as as you kind of touch that harmony, that hive mind, uh, you feel some connection between Guz and the spirits. Obviously, there's been something there for a long time, but this is much more pronounced. It's like they're bonding to it in some different way.
Are there any symbols on the sword or things like that?
It is a near perfect replica of Guz's sword. So I don't know, Guz, do you want to kind of describe your sword once again?
Absolutely. So it has an intricately carved hilt, and up the blade, which is just it looks like a gleaming folded steel, but up the blade are etchings of vines, like vines that go up it with leaves, and it like wraps around and like almost like not a perfect helix by any means, but like a twisty, like a helix around the sword. The etching does.
Do those things remind me of anything I've read or encountered before?
Not specifically those vines, but as you kind of examine it a little bit closer to the artificial sword, you notice that there are two etchings, two runes etched into the sword that are not present on Guz's sword, at least for what you can see without actually picking up his sword. But if it was a one-for-one
Okay.
copy, you feel like you would see these two runes, and the runes are magic, and the second rune is fellowship. So magic fellowship is what the two runes on the sword seem to indicate. There is definitely some type of symbiotic relationship forming.
Very strange. I suppose this is all I can gather for now. So I'll leave that. I'll just keep observing outside and just eye the spirits, see if they do anything else.
Right. So the night continues to pass along. Serrano?
Okay, well, so I take it S will wake me up
Yeah.
on my shift. And so I just got 6 full hours of sleep, so I imagine I'm nice and well rested. I will get up and I would prefer to take my watch outside, having traveled with my parents when I was young, when they did a lot of traveling to the outskirts of the island stuff. So we did a lot of camping out. So I feel more comfortable taking my watch outside. I think I'll find a spot where I could like view any avenues of approach, and maybe make an occasional sweep or walk around the perimeter kind of every once in a while at random times without trying to set any type of pattern. I will, as it gets closer to sunrise, I definitely would like to be as still as possible. Make sure that I have a good view on any areas that are obvious avenues of approach, especially as the sun's rising, and just keep a mindful eye. Perhaps when I'm sitting still, I'll meditate a little bit, center myself, and balance myself with the weave of magic. And that's pretty much how I would take my rest. And then once I feel that it's an adequate amount of sunlight, I'll wake everyone up. If I get to that point uninterrupted, that is.
Interesting you say that. As you begin your shift, you pass through by S and get the knight's instructions. S, do you communicate what Recklin communicated with you?
Yes, I do. And I also tell Serrano a little bit about what's the weird stuff happening with the sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, I take what S tells me, and although I do find it intriguing, especially because it has to do with magic, I don't want to shirk my responsibilities as a sentry. So I take it that's something that I would perhaps want to investigate further later. But for now, I think that my major concern will be to ensure that we're safe throughout the rest of the night, or what's left of it.
1 hour into your shift, in your pattern walks around, the drums turn. You've heard them come in and out just a little bit, but they seem to be reaching somewhat of a fever pitch now. As you kind of take a glance over towards Obel Forest once again, see flashes of light, almost like the Aurora Borealis, popping up from the center of the forest. Once, twice, 3 times. A brilliant, dazzling display of blues, purples, greens, floating up from the center of the forest in almost an explosion of color. S, as you are sleeping, you get this mental picture, this mental dream. You're into the dream state once again. What does that feel like for you? Dream takes you.
When these dreams happen, it's I would say it's like almost like being out of S's body and falling through like the web of connections around the world, like the web of magic. It's something like that. It's like there's a mesh of magic over the world, and S is falling through that until they fall into the dream.
As you make your way into the dream, kind of feel yourself walking into this logging camp, but it's very different. Like it's bright, it's sunshine, it's morning. You feel different. The horizon even looks slightly different as you're in the dream walk. And as you pass like one of the water barrels that are kind of sitting out on the floor, you kind of spy a glance at the water barrel, and you do not look like S. You look like one of the other nobles that you know, Smart. Smart is a well-dressed turtle, and Smart is moving with a very definitive purpose, and then you instantly recognize that you're in the dream, almost perhaps sharing a shared dream of a past event, perhaps. And as Smart looks around, the logging camp is in full swing. Everybody's doing things. You see several other people that you know, and several people that you think probably Smart knew. But as Smart kind of looks around, Smart is constantly drawn to the forest. And after a moment, you see Smart kind of walk behind one of the outbuildings, kind of in the corner of this logging camp, and you see a small hatch. Smart pushes something down on the hatch momentarily, and then the memory kind of blinks for a moment. And then you're underground. You're still Smart. You feel like you're walking underground. It seems like it's been a very long time. Then the ground begins to ascend, and a majestic, huge, with a very blue-green water pool sits in front of it as you enter morning sunlight once again. And then the memory flashes. Then you're now Smart again. But the horizon has changed very differently once again. Whereas before Smart was obviously a little taller than S, you're now looking down on some of the trees from Smart's vantage point. That end of the dream.
Okay.
All right, so flashes are going off inside the middle of the forest, Serrano. This is not something that is normal.
Okay. Do they seem to be coming any closer, or just in the center?
They seem to be in the center, and they seem to be growing in magnitude.
Okay. At this point, I am concerned enough that I think it's necessary to wake everyone else. So I'm going to first, I'm going to wake Guz because he's our most aggressive. So I'm going to wake him up first. And plus, he's been asleep the longest as well as everyone. So I'll wake him up first.
Just
And,
takes a light touch. What's happening?
There appear to be some lights in the middle of the forest. I don't know what it is, but they seem to be getting brighter and brighter. There have been some noises, some drums going throughout the night, but this is something new. So I thought I would start waking everyone up. If you want to check it out, or at least go get closer to make sure someone doesn't come and attack us, I'll wake the others up.
Yes, a wise decision. I will see what I can see, and I'll hustle. I'll make sure that my armor's on, and then I'll take my shield and sword in hand and plan to climb to the roof and see. Like I'll look out first to make sure that there's nothing close, but I'll climb to the roof if I need to get like a better vantage.
Well, not quite as light a sleeper as Moguz. If you're talking about things, Ricklin will probably wake up as well and just like, what's going on?
Recklin, wake up! Wake up!
Yeah. What's going on?
It looks like there's something could be happening. There's lights and noises come from the center of the forest. So I think we should probably get up just in case something happens and perhaps go and investigate it. So if you'll get ready, I'll go ahead and wake up S.
Okay.
S, wake up!
Yeah.
Wake up!
What is it?
There's sorry, I know you just went to sleep, but there's some lights, there's some noises, and I don't know what it is, but I think it may be something that we want to check out just in case something bad happens. I think we should be ready. Everyone's up now, so it's something. If you want to get ready, we'll get prepared to for whatever happens, or maybe perhaps we can go investigate.
All right, but before we do that, I need to tell you something. There's a hatch somewhere here. And, yes, there seems to be a hatch somewhere here. And apparently, a noble that I know, what was the noble's name? Smirt. They're a turtle. I don't know if you've seen them around before. They're hard to miss. But they've been here quite recently, and then I'll begin to tell them about my dream. I had a dream, you see.
Very interesting. So, where is this portal?
Can I try to go to where the hatch is in my dream first, before I sound like a mad person? Like, it might not be there.
Absolutely. So as S gets up, they head out towards kind of gaining their bearings as they look about the area, and you spot that same water barrel and are able to kind of trace Smirt's steps, and it leads you once again to what it looks like just to be cellar doors on the outside of a hovel, just kind of in the outskirts of this area. Guz, as you're kind of looking out, and Recklin, if you pop out and see, you'll see those lights as well.
Mm-hmm.
Guz, you don't see anything like rushing towards you, but the drums are very steady beating now, and the lights continue to explode up higher and higher into the sky as the morning lights.
You think
I
it's
see them
just
going
like
to
some kind of party that's gotten out of hand?
No, Recklin. I don't think that's a party.
I thought you might say that.
Do I see them going to the turtle portal?
You see S kind of walking about, yes.
I love that phrase. I'm going to steal it.
Sure.
Turtle portal. Yes.
So I'll just take note that and make sure that I watch his progress as well to make sure that nothing comes out to snatch him up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so everybody is up and active. S, they can see the cellar doors. You're just a few paces away from it.
All right, so it is real.
Yes.
Can I open it or get someone strong here to open it? Actually, S would probably be like, Morgas, can you open those doors?
Can't you see I'm watching these forest lights? This is no
Well, someone
time to
needs
be
to-
looking for dry goods.
Can someone open those doors?
I'll get
well,
down and give it a go. I'm just grumbling while I'm getting down.
Recklin,
Yeah? Did you
can
see
you
that?
open these doors? Yes, I can see that. It's. I've never seen anything like it.
What's with the doors when that's going on?
There might be some sort of tunnel behind those doors.
Okay, then it's gonna take us like far away from here or something?
Perhaps.
I
Well, we won't know until we.
Okay. So I'll work too. So
All right. So just to be clear, is Recklin or Guz or both of you grabbing onto these doors to lift them open?
Oh my god. Are they really heavy?
They're cellar doors, so
Okay.
they're not slouch stuff, but they're not like stone or anything like that.
does
I
it take
imagine one
both of
person
them?
is adequate.
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. I guess if Mogos was asked first and I was asked second, by the time I get there, Morgos will probably have opened them already.
Yeah, I'll do it. That way, in case something comes out too, I'm at the
Right,
front.
right.
All right. So you're opening think of it like a 2-hatch cellar. You know, one door on the left, door on the right. You're gonna just pull one open and have your sword ready in the other hand or shield ready.
Yeah, I'll pull it open with my sword hand and have my shield like at the ready of my left hand.
Okay. As soon as Guz gives a good pull on the door, you realize that the memory jump that you saw might not have been a memory jump at all, because a blinding light immediately protrudes from the hole. Guz, you are going to go flying back up through the air. You apparently are the flying person, and you're thrown back at least 20 feet into a tree. Smack hard into the tree. What is
Oh my god.
Stoke
Uh
for?
oh.
My native circus 4.
All right, so you are going to take 2 damage. Smack hard into that tree.
Oh my god. Well,
I think it should be 5 actually. I think it's wrong on the sheet
Okay.
because I'm wearing leather armor. So
Okay.
I will take 1 damage.
Yep. So you smack into the tree, and as you are flying, you hear the spirits that were above your sword screeching as you fly back, and you see them almost dissipate near nothingness as you kind of look up and kind of start shaking your head. They're just a wisp of their former selves, almost completely and utterly transparent.
Take heart, little friends. We will win the day yet. I'll struggle to my feet and start and jog back to the cellar doors.
Morgas, for being the heaviest among us, you've been in the air the longest. We should probably put some weights on you.
Yes, there's nothing that aids in combat better than heavy weights strapped to oneself.
Maybe when we're not fighting.
So
Um,
I'm just curious. Observing him being thrown back, are we able to tell if this was like a trap or just some bad reaction to him or something? Just my experience with magic. Would I be able to tell if it was like some type of a magic trap that was set and triggered?
Yes,
Or-
you would
or-
believe
you.
definitely. Definitely a
Okay.
magic trap.
Uh, Serrano, you're usually better with the more kind of arcane. Could you give us a light down there so we can see what's going on down there?
Well,
That we can
wait,
like
are the
throw
doors
in?
open though? I guess did they
One of the
open?
doors is
Or-
open.
Okay, okay, it is open. All right. So yes, what would be? So would that be utility, or is it just? Does that take soak, or is light just like a gimme spell?
Yeah, it's usually a utility. I mean, you could take your time with it if you want to make sure it goes off, but it's typically a utility spell.
Okay.
Or you could throw a fireball down there if you really wanted to.
Well, I mean, so
no,
I mean,
no! You don't need to like set it on fire. I just want a little teeny
no, I
light.
just want a little light. So, but it's going to cost me the full 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then, can I say that this is light that who wants to go down first? In fact, what I'll do is I'll cast a light onto my staff and raise my staff up and have it follow me. And so I guess since I'm spending 2 strain, I'm able to manipulate the light, increase the intensity or focus if I wish.
Yeah,
Will it
absolutely.
follow my commands? Okay. All right. Good. Just want to make sure if I'm spending 2 strain or strain that I'm getting some good, nice magical light here. All right. So I will roll my dice. Will that be just 1 difficulty?
Yeah, I think so. It's a pretty basic utility spell.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, 1 success, 2 advantages.
Beautiful.
So, if you don't mind me saying, I think like the perfect use for those advantages would be if we're ever searching for something down here, the light is like really good and will give boost dice to searching for stuff down here.
Yeah, well, I was even thinking to the point that the light would have some revealing magic to it that maybe highlight anything, like if you're in a video game where you can hit tab and show things that, magic items or stuff that if that
That's
light would have,
exactly that's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah.
okay, yeah, to have that type of revealing property to it that would show anything hidden.
Or
Absolutely.
assist in finding hidden things, yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so I'm got my staff out. I guess I'm leading the way now. Has Guz recovered enough to come down with me, or am I going down by myself?
I mean, if Guz has been able to like make the distance between the two, certainly he, as he runs up, this me taking the lead thing is not working out so hot. I think maybe we should be a little bit more cautious in the future.
Yeah. Well, if you want to stand by my side, we can go down together and check it out.
Gladly. Stay just a step behind me. I would rather
If they've
stop
put-
the attack.
If this is a magic trap, it's worth checking out because that means that somebody doesn't want us to find this.
Why don't you go down and check things out? I unsheath my bow and I say, I will stay here and make sure that nothing is coming from the woods to interrupt whatever you're working on down there.
That makes sense. Enjoy the party.
Should we need help, the secret word is tangerine, so that you know it's actually us and not a trick.
Okay, tangerine.
Okay. Yes, you
like
can remember
tangerine.
because they are delicious.
They are very good. Although good strawberries, yeah, I like those too.
Don't confuse yourself, man. It's tangerine.
Tangerine.
The tangerines are not in season right now.
Listen, it's not important what the word is. It's just important that we all remember it.
Okay,
It's
understood.
also a color, and that helps too.
There you go.
All right then. Shall we proceed?
Yes.
So as the staff lights up dark and dingy basement, it is probably close to 25 steps down. Each of the steps is probably a 4-inch step, so it is a significant distance, whereas a normal cellar would not be nearly this deep. It is a significant distance down. As you make your way down with the light kind of guiding you, you notice right away that this is not your typical cellar. While there are a few shelves with some preserved goods on them, a large swath of the area has been kind of set aside. There are tables with notebooks kind of and parchment and ink quills, scribblings. There are things pinned up to the wall. And then with your bonus, with your boost from your magic, you notice that one of the shelves looks like it may have been moved in and out of place.
Okay, well, I point that out. Looks like this shelf has been moved. There appear to be scratches on the wall that I can see. So perhaps we should investigate that further.
Good eye.
Guz, would you like to try to investigate that?
Yes, maybe we can do a little bit of inspecting before I just push it to the side.
That's probably not a bad idea.
My touching it plan is not. I'm rethinking it.
Is this a book? Is this a bookshelf?
The one that has the scratches on it is just a preserves shelf.
Huh. Okay. I think someone should look around closely. I don't know what's the investigate stat here.
So I guess, do any of us have like rogue type skills?
I think you should be a perception.
I have.
Yeah, perception or streetwise is typical things when we're talking about that.
Do we have what's skullduggery?
That tends to be more criminal kind of activity.
Picking locks.
Sleight of
sneaking-
hand,
Yeah, sleight of hand.
pickpocketing.
Sleight of
Right.
hand, picking locks. that kind of
Okay.
thing.
All right. I have streetwise. I don't have a rank in streetwise.
I have one rank in perception, but I've only got a yellow and a green as far as my
Oh,
dice.
that's
Flip a story point, dude, and do it.
you can do
Yeah,
it.
well, the karma will come back on us, but it's probably worth it.
Man, story points are made to be used. I think we're
Can
are
I-
we missing a story point right now?
think we
Should it be
have
4 and 1?
Oh,
Because
because
for
yeah, I
players?
took one out last week because you weren't here.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
My God.
Can I flip
Wait,
a
do we
story
already flip one?
point for extra dice on streetwise?
Yep, he used one for his
an
dream.
art?
Usually it's an upgrade, so you go from a green to a
Oh.
yellow.
Yep, so you go to double yellows.
Okay. I double yellows. I have 3 green dice on streetwise. It makes
Oh,
it 1
sorry.
yellow, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sorry, looks wrong sheet.
Right. Oh, someone has a rank in streetwise.
Not I.
No,
Not
no.
I.
Well, okay. All right. I can do it.
Right.
Have a rank in survival and perception, not in streetwise.
All
And
right.
I'm outside anyways, so.
Are you ready? All right. I just rolled 2 successes and 1 advantage. I think yes.
Yep.
Ooh, that's pretty
Nice.
decent.
All right. While this does not have a magical trap on it, it certainly does have a trap on it. You notice a thin thread leading from the corner to what appears to be some type of pot in the wall, almost kind of in behind shelf. And if it was not disconnected, you think it would probably pull the lid off whatever the contents of that pot were, or it towards whoever was moving the shelf.
Okay, I will tell this to everybody else.
Now, fool me once, shame on you. Well, Matas, can you disarm it?
There are two ways I think we can disarm it. I could tie another thread to the thread and cut the original thread so that it doesn't and tie that thread to something else. Or we could just keep the jar closed.
Yes, whatever way you think is best. Just make it so that we may move this shelf.
Do you have any thoughts, Serrano?
I don't know anything about mechanical traps. If it were magic, I would just wave my hand and make it disappear.
Okay.
But
Well,
mechanical,
I
I would say cut it with scissors, but you
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
no
the
engineer.
expert with threads.
you don't just cut. Okay, all right. I think I'm gonna go the thread route where it's like I'm gonna tie two threads, a new one, and tie the new one somewhere else, and then cut the old one.
Beautiful.
That's more complicated than just keeping the lid closed, but
Are-
that's what my character would do.
Are you cutting the red thread or the blue thread?
Which one first?
I'm colorblind. I can't tell.
It goes off without a hitch. You are very well adept at thread work, and we're able to attach it to another object without issue. And you believe now that the trap is effectively disabled.
It's a good thing we checked for traps. But that said, I didn't see a trap in my dream. I think. Anyway, we can move this aside now.
Yes, it is clear whatever madman left something to be hidden down here will go to no ends to stop intruders. We should stay vigilant. Push the thing aside carefully so that I don't spill any of the preserves, because I might take some on the way out.
Very well. It pushes. It's surprisingly easy to push. There's probably some type of greased mechanical something underneath the shelf that helps push it along. It actually pushes open silently as well. So as you kind of push it open, Serrano, your light kind of illuminates a small passage, no taller than probably 5.5 foot tall by about 4 foot wide. That seems to go on farther than you can currently see with your light. So it appears to be a long, very dark tunnel, just hewn into the earth.
Okay, can I try to focus my light a little bit more, tighten the beam so that perhaps I can see a little bit further out?
Yep, it is for what you would consider at least 75 yards, which is probably as far as your light can traverse in that.
Okay.
It just looks like a straight path in dirt hewn into the world. It heads in the direction of deeper into Obel Forest.
So 5 feet by 4 feet. So that's probably a pretty tight fit for you guys. Is that right? You have to crouch down a little bit.
I'm not 4 feet wide. Yes, I would have to crouch.
I meant more. I'm sorry. I meant height wise. I did not mean that in an insulting way.
No, I took it as I aspire to be 4 feet wide with muscles. But yes, I will have to crouch a bit. But that is fine. I taught my legs to do it just like this.
Well, I would ask if you would go first, please.
Yes, gladly. Listen carefully before we advance.
Up top.
I do want to.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I do want to actively listen to hear if there's any activity that we can hear down in there.
Absolutely.
I think we should we should call Recklin down here with us if we are to proceed.
Yeah.
After all.
Strawberry! Blast, what was the word that we decided on again? Call up the...
Wait, there's someone said strawberries for sure.
Yeah, that was the joke. Tangerine, that's it.
Up top, as you've been watching Recklin, you've noticed the intensity of the colors and the number of strands of the colors has been increasing. Where it was 3, it is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it is kind of starting to branch out almost tree-like in its a branching structure out from the main light, and it is rapidly growing, and you can see you would say it is now reaching out from the center of the forest out in all directions. It is starting to head overland almost.
Yeah, it's getting really busy out here. There's a lot more of the shafts of light, and they're stretching out a lot farther. Um, uh, uh, yeah, Tangerine, I'm coming.
You should probably
As I
close.
move exactly, as I move in, I close the doors, and if there is handles on the inside, I will put like a piece of wood or something, uh, anything that makes those doors harder to open.
Absolutely. Stick it in there. Guz, you're active listening. You don't perceive any noises. Appears to be quiet, other than the standard earth noises that you would expect.
Before we decide to delve deeper, given what you said, Recklin, do you think that we're simply entombing ourselves to be under siege from whatever it is that's out there?
Ask us. He was the one that brought us here. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm not sure, to be quite honest. But there seems to be something happening here, and this seems to take us further into the forest anyway. So we might be able to kill two birds with one stone. It's, I suppose, passing underground might be safer. Don't you think?
That's true. But we're down here on the word of a dream of yours. Forgive my incredulity, but I have few fond memories of being trapped in a tunnel.
Hmm.
Don't
Well-
discount dreams, though.
If we pretend that it is a wide open space by casting blue light upon the walls to make it look like sky, would that make you feel better?
Ah, yes, your mastery of lighting theory is unparalleled. I appreciate your efforts greatly. I will trust you, S. But should this prove successful, I will have some questions about what other secrets your dreams have held in the past.
All right. Well, let's proceed then.
Can I manipulate the spectrum of light to cast blue upon the
Absolutely.
ceiling? Okay, great. Then I do so to honor S's request.
All right. So just wanted to just double check marching order here. So is Serrano going to go up front, or is Guz going to go up front?
Guz-
I think Guz and then me right behind.
Yeah, Guz.
Am I able to change my light so that it now attaches itself to his shield or his sword
Yeah, you
instead
can
of my
transfer it.
staff? Okay, yes, then I would like to do so. Where would you like the light, Guz? On your sword or your shield?
On the front of my shield would be perfect.
Okay, I touch his shield and imbue the shield with the light, transfer it to his shield.
Yeah, and I'll hold it up as we move, as like our lantern.
All right. As you guys all squeeze, cajole your way into the tunnel shape size, you begin proceeding down a very straight path, actually, for quite some time. An hour passes. You continue to go forward. There's been no branches, no anything, and just continued path straight. And then you continue marching. You're up to a second hour. And then about probably hour 3, almost on to hour 4, begin to feel, and you guys see the path beginning to slightly raise up back towards the surface.
Now, could we tell that we were moving in the general direction of the center of the forest?
Yes, it's been a very straight shot so far.
So who makes a tunnel like 5 miles long?
And traps it
It's-
so thoroughly, you'd think this hike was trap enough. Ugh.
It's so
Smugglers?
straight, too. Can you imagine? Imagine the engineering.
Yes.
Or
What do you know of
perhaps
this
magic.
noble?
What do I know of this turtle?
The turtle is older, so depending on how you felt about older nobles in the city, you may or may not have encountered him. Smirt was one of the more reclusive nobles in the city. Comes from old money, and was very much into the investments scheme. Always kind of dreaming about what the next phase of the Grand Consulate might be. So heavily investor, that sort of thing. But generally a well balanced, well likable person. Although he was very private.
Strange. If he was into such large investment projects, this could be one of them, and this might not be the only one. It would take some coin to make the tunnels so straight,
Might
because
not
you
be
would
an
have to.
might
yeah.
not be an entirely legal one, maybe.
I mean,
Yes.
if it is trapped, I do wonder if the halflings know about this, seeing as it is in their camp. But
Yes, I
we
wonder
can't
what
ask
lies
that.
on the other end.
Well, let's continue then and find out.
Oh, I assumed that we were walking as we were talking. Yes, let's continue. Enough
Oh,
of this
right.
break.
We are.
Efficient.
We're walking and talking.
So as the great
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if the walls are the walls of the tunnel, like, are they smooth or rough, or like, I'm trying to discern how this was dug out. Nobody has any architecture or something skill.
these are very smooth walls. This is definitely not natural dirt. Like you didn't just dig this out with a hand shovel and call it good. Like this is incredibly smooth. There are no roots that are like protruding at all. Like that you might expect if you were again digging out with a hand shovel, you might have like some big tree roots, especially with how big the Obel forest is. Like there's none of
Right.
that. This is a completely straight and from up till this point very level until we're now going on the upgrade towards the surface again.
If this was not done with fine craftsmanship, it might have been done with magic. Well, I'll just remark that.
Yes, that would be my guess, perhaps, that it was because it just looks too straight. So I would suspect magic as well.
Yes, and those magic traps. It all would fit.
So as you guys sort of continue up the ascent, by now, those of you who are naturally intuitive as far as times go would know that you're about 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning, and where you'd expect to see a bright purplish color from the barrier and that sort of thing. As you kind of get about halfway up the incline, you see an exit hole, and it protrudes out onto the sky, but the sky, rather than being the normal purple hue of the barrier that you're used to, is a grand mixture of all sorts of the blues and the purples and the greens that you saw out there, and you can't even see the sky clearly because of how dense and thick the coloring is of just the air.
No. What is this?
So we can't really even make out the sky, just nothing but colors, just a kaleidoscope of colors.
Do you see it too?
I do see it. I have no idea what that could mean. I think it's the only way to find out is to go ahead and reach the surface and see what there is.
Guz will break into a jog, and then like speed up. The closer he gets to the end of the
I
tunnel.
think we would all do that. Yes. I wonder, perhaps this is how the barrier dissipates. When does that due anyway? It's like
No
a
one knows the
pregnancy.
exact day.
Okay, it's not like a pregnancy. We don't know.
So, do we know? Do we have stories? Would this require a story point to kind of know the creation process? Like maybe have seen images or drawings of when it was created. If maybe there was a similar collection of colors and things, so that perhaps what we're seeing is the reverse process.
Be a wonderful knowledge roll.
Okay.
You have the highest knowledge.
Yes. Would that be so? I have a rank in adventuring, but my knowledge itself is 4, or my intelligence is 4. So
I
if it
have
was,
a rank in lore, so I have a 3 with 1 yellow for lore.
Yep, lore dice is
Hmm.
what we would attempt to do because this is of the
Okay.
history and magic of the world. Lore would be appropriate skill.
Mhm.
all right. So statistically, 3 dice with the yellow is better than 4 green dice, correct?
Mm,
It's a kind of a wash.
that's
I-
a wash. Why don't you go ahead and roll, and we'll see. I'll think on it.
Okay.
Green dice, statistically, if all you want is successes, green dice, an extra green dice is better than a conversion to a yellow.
Okay.
The
Then
benefit you get from the yellow is the possibility of a triumph.
okay. So and that would be 1 difficulty, correct?
This particular
Or-
history check, with as far back as it will require you to know, we're going to say that is 2 purples.
Okay, and don't forget, I have family that were directly involved in the creation of
Give you a boost for that.
in my backstory. Okay, so my ancestors were a part of the creation.
Ooh.
One, 1 success and 1 advantage. Seems
Ooh.
like
Alright.
We're rolling well today.
Tales upon tales passed down from generation to generation return to your memory. You recall your oldest relative speaking of such things, and these coloring, this was very similar to what happened when the barrier was put up. This type of magic so thick, you know that you have to be very, very careful when you cast additional magic into this, because if the wrong magic threads were to cross, as it were, bad things could happen. But yes, this was the exact sort of thick, visible, tangible. You even recall them saying things about the taste of magic. And as this is very similar to the magic of the creation of.
okay. I let everyone know. I remember hearing stories about when the barrier was first erected, and this appears to be similar to what happened. That this is the a maelstrom of magic, basically unraveling now. So I do not recommend that any of us use any other type of magic, or else it could interfere. So, and who knows, the results could be disastrous.
Do you know, is this like somebody trying to reinforce, or is it somebody trying to tear it down?
Well, I don't even know if it's actually someone influencing it. It could be that this is the time that it's naturally unraveling. I honestly, I don't know. Or do I know?
Nope, you're spot on.
Okay.
All right, so I don't think Morguz would think to look at this based on what's going on, but I, as a player, am curious. What are the spirits doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. The 3 spirits that are above you, they're mostly transparent still, so they're kind of just floating above your sword. But they, as you kind of approach, as you start running towards this opening in the forest floor, as it were, you can see them. They're starting to pulse a bit.
Okay, so I don't think Morguz would like take heed of that. Like I said, I don't think he would like actually look, but I was just curious for my mind's eye. But he'll just keep running, and he'll just like he'll try and hit the entrance at like a flat out sprint, basically, as fast as he can go with his armor and sword and shield.
So they're still following us,
Yes.
but not taking our forms.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
As you guys run out of the underground tunnel, out into the sky of the day, you notice that their entire outside of this forest clearing is covered in such thick trees that you don't think you could stick a pinky between all the trees that are surrounding this central clearing of the forest. You notice a master mega tree center of this clearing that grows head and shoulders above all the other trees. It looks to be ancient. It is at least as high as a skyscraper with large canopies. And right in front of it, you see Guz as you kind of pop out of the hole here. You see some type of huge monolithic creature just propped up next to the tree, its eyes glowing blue, and out of its mouth and its hands are the strands that are completely engulfing, running up the tree and out the branches of the tree over the tops of the canopies at large.
So
Uh,
I would go like I would slow as I came out of the tunnel and kind of stand, and I'll keep my shield up and my sword like by my side, but not threateningly. And I will just like, oh, what is he interacting or anything? Or is he just like sitting still there?
That creature, this thing here is has all those ribbons and everything kind of popping out of it. Like it is actively sending the magic, as it were.
And it's corporeal. It's like very like solid, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't like turn to see me or do anything like that.
Correct.
So I would just stand. I would stop and wait and like just be like staring at it, kind of stunned, with like a straight back, but non-threatening, but not like cowering.
As you guys exit the tunnel and look up, those of you who are inclined to look up into the sky, you see spirits dancing and whirling, spinning of all sorts of varieties and shapes, kind of dancing around these waves of energy that are pulsing from the top of the tree.
so the tree appears to be like a focal point of the energy that the creature's using.
Yes.
And I'm just curious, where we came out, was it just basically like a hole in the ground, or I see on the map it's a tent, but it's not really a tent, right? Just pretty much,
Right. Just a hole in the
and
ground.
it was an incline that came up, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if this is something we should or need to be interfering in.
What is
Give
it
me-
doing? What is it sending out?
Give me a moment here.
Well,
I stop and I fold myself into a meditative position, and I want to try and reach out and communicate with the spirits that are flying overhead to understand what they're part of and what they are reeling in, trying to gain some information. And I guess this is primal magic that I'd be trying, and what would be the difficulty, or what I'm up if I were to try that? What would it be?
Yeah. Excellent question. I think if you're trying to commune with those spirits, that's just a connection thing. So I would say that we almost consider it similar to a conjure. So
Perfect.
I do two difficulty for your range, and then one for like your summon ally, as it were, or whatever.
Mhm. Um, like, is there any way to how? Do you mind if I use a story point on this?
I don't.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
It's hard to justify anybody aiding me or boost dice on this. I'm trying to think, how would that happen? I don't know if it would. So, um, one triumph, two on one disadvantage.
All right. All right. How do we want to play that?
I'm assuming that from the way these are read, that it's just the simple dice. So the triumph acts as a success.
Yeah.
So because I have no zero successes and zero failures and one triumph,
Yes.
and then 2 and 3. So it is a success. There's a triumph, but there is a disadvantage to it.
Okay. All right. As you commune with the spirits, you guys notice as Recklin kind of takes his repose, several of the spirits start dancing down and down and down and start dancing around Recklin. Uh, Recklin is lifted, some sort of magical means, just up a couple inches off the ground as they kind of do this dance around and connect with him at a very primal level. Um, and what is it you want to ascertain with your triumph?
Um, what are they part of? Kind of why are they here? Are they watching the barrier dissolve? Are they helping the barrier dissolve? Are they helping reinforce the barrier? How are they interacting with things?
The primal emotion that you feel across the link, one of freedom, escape.
Hmm. I come out of it and I say, I think there is a sense of these spirits feel they're trapped here. I think these spirits are looking for a way to see the barrier gone.
Hmm. Well, I actually would like to do something similar, but to our copies. I want to establish a connection with our copies.
All right, absolutely. So you re-pick up the link, the thread of magic. Could you describe once again how that kind of connection works?
Yes. So there is a thread between S and the spirit becomes visible, well, to S, and it sort of just links up, like, kind of stitches itself together or something.
All right. Depending on what you ask, I might make you roll, but I think for right now, depending on what you ask, you might just be able to reconnect with that link that you had previously. So, what are you going to
Yes.
communicate with them?
Well, I do just want to know what they think about this whole thing. How do they feel? What are they thinking at the moment?
You feel yearning, like you kind of feel them pulled towards this center thing. Feel almost a giddy desire to go towards something more towards the center of this. They are still very weakened from whatever happened at the entrance point to the tunnel. So but in that very, very weakened state, feel a glimmer of hope, of excitement, as they kind of hope that whatever their connection point goes towards something closer to the
I'd like to tell this to my party and say, I think they want to go to the center. That means that Morgaz, we should try to take them to the center. Because they follow you.
Yes. Wonderful.
Well, if they want the disruption of our barrier, as I said, all these spirits seem to be saying that they'll be free soon. They seem to be singing a cry of freedom coming soon.
It's good for them, and to be quite frank, the economy here has become stagnant. We could use some more open borders.
So are we saying we want to help bring down the barrier?
I would not mind doing that. Or whatever effects this will cause.
So I'm just curious. The large creature that's the big stone creature that we see, correct?
Hmm?
But can we see? I do see there's a token there. Can we see something or somebody there, or is that something we don't quite see?
You do
that's
not
visible?
currently have visibility to that.
Okay, all right. So,
So
are we
let's-
going to all move towards the so where that big stone creature is, that's the focal point of what's happening, correct? Everything's being channeled through the tree.
Yes.
So I guess we want to head towards the tree.
I'm guessing that's where we go. Anybody want to go first?
Come,
Guz?
little ones, I say to the little ghosts. And I raise my sword and shield. That I assume that's what they're following more than like me, right? So I'll raise my sword and shield and start to advance. And as I advance, I will call out to this being that seems to be tied to the tree. We are not foe. We are not foe. Do you hold an allegiance here? As I advance, like I'm, I'm not in, like, I'm not into fighting giant stone monsters for fun.
As you begin to make your way towards the large stone creature, you see its head slow turn towards you as you call out towards it. It kind of inclines its head at an angle, and then you see its eyes look down into the center of its, between its legs, basically, and kind of flash a few times down towards that. At the same point, my story. The magical energies around you guys are getting incredibly thick. Like it's almost like you're pushing through mashed potatoes. Like it is getting to that point where it's like magic is so thick it's palpable, and you have to like push your way through every step. It is not easy. It is going to, I would say, for each square you wish to traverse, it is going to cost you 2 strain. Make it through that magic, unless you have some way to defend the area around you.
Okay, well, I'm still remembering the warning of not using magic, but so does magic to dispel magic? Is that considered? Would that be something?
That is still magic, yes.
Okay, still magic. So probably not. So 2 strain per square.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Are we all? So when this happens, are we all where Guz is currently on the map? So is it at the point where we start experiencing the
Yep.
loss of screen?
Yep.
Okay.
Assuming you followed Guz at a pace.
Yes, I mean not directly behind him, but yes, shortly behind him.
So how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I mean, you want to go
move
that
diagonally.
place? Yes.
So-
10 strain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah,
advance,
I've got
I'm
my
gonna
full
lift.
strain.
I'm gonna lift my shield up to my face, and I'm gonna whisper into it. I'm gonna say, "God, dude, if your spirit can hear me, Tell your friends to shield us. Then
The three spirits that are on your shield start responding, start pulsing. Their thread is weak, but they do respond to your call. If you wish to spend a story point, they can create a small tunnel.
I do.
All right. So that'll be 1 strain rather than 2. Forward.
Thank you, God, dude. And thank you to your friends. And I will. This is the place where you said that he was like looked
Yes.
down and blinked at, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll make my way there. And if you'll let me do it D&D style, I'll move diagonally for that one. So
That's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be 4 strain.
Yep. As you guys kind of approach past the large foot, which is enormous. I mean, the foot is at least 60 feet high. It is. I mean, this is not a small golem creature, stone creature, whatever. You see, kind of in the stomach of this creature, the head of a turtle, but it's like its shell and part of its back legs are like melded into the creature proper.
Is that... What's his name?
Yep, that is smart.
Smart.
Smirts.
Same mark.
Is he conscious?
As you kind of approach forward, his head kind of lulls and kind of does the almost like half conscious, half awake, half asleep thing and kind of blinks. And as he kind of opens his mouth to say S, the big stone creature above, you hear
Smirts, what has happened to you?
the barrier calls to me.
This is some Thulu like level stuff. I'll look at the others and see what they think about this. Who are more like nature or arcane inclined or have some lore. Maybe you.
Ask him if he's trying to bring down the barrier and why?
Ask him what it says.
I think. Okay. I'll ask all these things. You can ask him yourself. I do think.
If you're the one that knows him, will probably respond to you better.
I would never deign to speak to a noble without being invited.
I will ask those questions to Smirts.
Barrier draws us at. No, the magic wanes. Must be reinforced or let go. The choice must be made.
So, which one is he trying to do? Is he trying to bring it down or reinforce it?
I think it's up to some of us. I think it's either way.
For us, yes, but what is his thoughts?
Yeah. What the Smirts think?
I attempted to find power, to hold the power, but I am too weak, ass. I will be absorbed shortly.
Okay. How do we deal with this?
Well, I think we should decide. Do we want to bring it down or strengthen it? I mean, it's been protecting our island or perhaps imprisoning us, depending on the perspective that you want to look at it. I think maybe it is time for it to come down. What does everyone feel about that?
I believe Goddude's friends agree.
So
I
do
will
we-
bring. I would not mind having it down.
I'll defer to the whatever you guys want. I don't know what's best.
All right, I think we seem to be all leaning towards taking it down. If we must make a decision, then that's probably...
I would agree with that. I mean, even though I have ancestors that died bringing the barrier up, it's prevented us from seeing the rest of the world. So I think maybe it is time that the barrier were to come down.
Perhaps it was appropriate at that time. Maybe things have changed now.
Now things have definitely changed around my folks' farm. Maybe if the spirits go away, their crops will be better. Then again, maybe we'll be invaded by a bunch of who knows what from some other place.
Tell us, Turtle, why did you trap this passage? Who seeks to stop you?
There is a cult somewhere in the noble families wished to reharness this power towards their own gain.
Well, I will say I don't particularly like siding with cults.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to release that power.
What do we need to do in order to do this?
There, and he kind of points his head, are two rocks that we must be destroyed. He kind of inclines his head, and you guys would have noticed that he's coming over at least one of the rocks that kind of has symbol on it. But it must be at the same time.
Oh my...
And just to be clear,
Okay.
that's to destroy the barrier, right?
Yes. As
And
he's
you're
talking,
definitely not tricking us.
you can definitely roll something if you want to attempt to perceive that. But as he's talking, he is absorbing further and further into the golem. Talking obviously has a strain, and his time to talk is limited.
Okay. Well, I would like to roll to see if this is, how truthful this person is, or...
Absolutely. So that is typically
Who has better perception than I do?
I have two greens.
I think Recklin.
I have yellow and 2 greens.
I have 3 greens. I'm not sure what's better.
I have a yellow and a green, so
Okay, if I were to try and read him, what would the difficulty be?
that would be average difficulty.
Any
If-
setback dice? Any?
A setback die just for because you've got all the magic crap going around you, and that's definitely putting mental strain.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Boom. 1 success, 1 disadvantage.
All right. You believe he is telling the truth. And advantage, he is sucked further in. He may be able to speak one more sentence before he is engulfed with.
Do we could just keep him silent so he stays there.
Yes.
well, I think we definitely need to do something. So the stones, I guess if it's just a matter of turning the stones and that's it, or if there's any ritual, I'm wondering, can I turn a story point over? And maybe because like my family was involved in the in bringing up the barrier, like, so information may have been passed on. My parents were dedicated to helping. They traveled around closing rifts that happened and stuff. So, and then I watched them die, or not actually die, but follow a demon into a rift, and so that they could close it on the other side. And so I kind of like dedicated myself when I, learning magic so that I could understand the barrier and everything about it as much as possible. So if I were to flip over a story point, can I like maybe gain some insight on, is there a ritual, or I mean, I don't know, can I feel that maybe I could cast some magic that could help in this process in some way, that I could enchant some ritual or something? Maybe we all hold hands and turn over the trees, I mean the stones, or something to that nature.
Flip the story point. So there's a couple things as
Oh
you
my
kind
God.
of play through your memory. You could try to do some type of major I mean, because these are your 3 stones, right? Here's your 3 pillars, things that have to be
Mhm.
destroyed. You could try something huge AoE based with all of you kind of focusing like foci of magic. You could also attempt to essentially create controlled explosions, as it were, with magic, because the magic in magic creates explosions. And then that obviously Guz super strong, so I'm sure Guz could just run and hiya with his sword into and kind of break some of the rune. So there are multiple ways you could attack this.
But they all
Could
have
be
to be destroyed
done at the same time. Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So what if I were to so it's 3 stones. What if I were to cast some spell that could imbue Guz's sword, imbue Recklin's bow so that he could shoot, and then S's threads so that all of them could simultaneously attack the stones and destroy them?
I like it.
Does that so I would like cast some Enal Athrak Uthbas Bethod Docheldinve Enal Athrak Uthbas Bethod Docheldinve.
All right. Guys, for that story point, we'll let you flip that. You guys feel magic start to flow out of Sereno onto your weapons, your threads. S. I'm going to ask you guys, close this campaign. Make 1 roll. This is roll to end all rolls right here.
Oh my
Going to
gosh.
determine what happens. Tell me how your character is going to utilize that awesome empowerment. Make it happen.
Okay. I'll go last.
As always, my greatest strength has been my bow. It's the bow my father made for me. I put a lot of faith and belief into it. So certainly, I will feel what is being channeled, and I will take my bow and aim it at the rock that is farthest away from everybody else, but still well within range of my bow shot, and fire at it.
Great. That is going to be a daunting roll for you, sir, because you chose
my
the furthest
gosh.
away. A reminder, you guys have 1 story point left.
But I'm going to aim, and I am also going to take strain and do a second aim action.
All right, and you can also take a boost die from Serrano's magic.
Do I have to roll as well?
We're not going to make you roll. You spent the story point on this one, so there may be a reaction. We'll see how everybody does. You might have kind of a final action here. We'll see.
Okay.
All right, another boost die there. All right, let's
might-
see how this goes. Got quite a handful of dice there.
Yeah, always good to end with a big pool.
A complete wash.
All right.
No successes, no advantages, no threats. Complete wash.
All right. Guz, what are you doing?
So I'll take I'll take a stance in front of one of these runes.
If one of us
One
has
sec.
failed, we should.
Well, this is probably remember this is supposed to happen simultaneously. So-
Right, exactly. So we all have to all succeed.
We'll see what happens.
I have a weird noise in my house. Can S take their turn first, and then I'll be back in like 1 minute. I'm still on
Yep.
mobile headphones.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right. S. Do I see that the arrow probably missed or something?
Again, you're focused on yours, so everyone's gonna kind of
All
focus
right.
on theirs.
So, for the boost, S sees that it's almost as if the individual pieces of soil and rock that compose these rocks, and the invisible threads kind of wrap around each rock, and the idea is to break them free of each other.
Awesome.
So I'll just roll that, and a blue boost die. Right?
And that is going to be a hard check for you.
That's gonna be 3.
3 purple dice. Yes, absolutely.
Can I aim with this?
You can't aim spells, unfortunately.
Okay, good luck for us. All right. I don't know.
You got 4 successes, actually 5 successes, and 2 threats.
Okay.
Right. We'll come back to that in a minute. All right. Guz, have you returned?
Yes. Sorry,
right.
it was a unusually unbalanced washing machine. So
No problem.
I will set my Gus stands in front of one of the runes and sets his shield down. A rock for a rune is not the right way. He takes both hands and he takes his short sword in both hands, and he says, "The root knows how to drive true." And he'll like hold it out in front of him with the point pointed straight at the rune, which is my double aim action, and take a running start at it, and just bring with all of his might, both hands on his short sword, bring it down onto the stone of the rune.
Beautiful. All right. That is a melee attack. You.
Any like adversary or
I will spend
or
one because you're
setbacks?
attacking a rock. So we'll upgrade of those head
All right.
from the spell as well.
Ooh.
All
Nice.
right. Okay.
That one advantage is enough to crit.
Beautiful. All right. So, Serrano, here's what you see. You see all of them simultaneously do their thing, but you notice a stray spirit kind of clips Recklin's arrow a little bit as it's flying towards its target. You now have the chance to redirect Recklin's arrow back towards the rock. So you can use a manipulative spell or some type of explosion. You tell us how you want it to look. This is your chance. Make this hit the rock.
Okay, so yes, I'll use a spell, like what would be basically arcane force. To if I see the spirit trying to move it, I'm going to try to guide it back on course, or hit it so that it will be true and hit the rune the best that I can. So that would be would that be an attack or more of a conjure
It'd be the attack of either a blast or a manipulative, probably. I mean, you can describe
Okay.
it however
Oh,
you want.
manipulative. Okay. So yeah, I'll do, like I said, I'll use like some type of eldritch energy to basically kind of guide it in, or create like a track, so to say, like basically where it will just like, in fact, that's exactly what I'll do. I will create a large funnel, arcane funnel, so that the arrow will come in and spit out the other end on true course.
Beautiful.
So that would be 2 difficulty.
3 difficulty.
Did 3
1 for the
difficulty.
manipulative and
You
2 for
can-
the range.
I think you should spend our last story point. This is kind of important.
We got one back, so
Yeah. Oh, should I?
Oh.
Should I spend one then?
why not?
Wait.
We're near the
I
end.
think you. Yeah.
Okay, so that would give me a boosting, correct?
Changes a yellow or a green to a yellow.
A green to a yellow. Okay, so
You can have a boost for spell that you previously cast too.
okay, excellent. All right, here we go. This is everything. This roll. Oh no!
Was it bad? Oh.
A failure and 6 advantages. So,
as
man,
the things cast off, as the things strike true, you see Guz coming down with all his strength. Guz, the spirits that were above your sword merge with your sword and strike the rune. The spirits driving into the rune with you, doubling your strength. It's like going through butter with a hot knife. Your rune, the rock completely explodes as the spirits break into shattering pieces. They lend you the last of their strength. Your threads connect and wrap and turn around the rock and split it asunder. And then the final rock starts soaking all the energy towards it. And a massive wave of energy, Recklin's arrow is headed true. A spirit inadvertently just kind of bumps into its way and bumps the arrow. The magic goes off as Serrano attempts to course correct, and it just misses the rock. And magic tidal wave of magical burst and flow flies back in every direction, spirals up. The barrier explodes in a beautiful display of sparks and energy, and a huge beam shoots up from the third rock into the sky. Whether your character awake or not. Thank you for playing.
Wow.
Very nice.
very cool. Excellent. So,
That is the end.
Lash
Thank
white
you.
end.
well, I was
Wow,
hoping that
wow.
maybe I could have used the 6 advantages to protect us, but I guess we won't know the answer to that.
Story for another day.
Day.
Thank you, everybody who is watching
Wow.
live. This has been a great 4 weeks. Thanks you all for playing with me. I appreciate you being part of this little one-shot or month shot in
Month
Genesis.
shot.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have too. And we'll catch you guys next time. We'll be doing some other Genesis-style things. We got some other cool ideas coming up that will be in the schedule shortly. And I hope to see you guys again. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.